We begin in a busy airport terminal, with passengers hurrying to their gates. Among the crowd, Eloise Lancaster, an elderly woman, quietly waits for her flight in a simple, calm manner. The flight attendant, Miss Pratt, notices her but dismisses her as an ordinary passenger. Miss Pratt is efficient, used to managing the first-class section, and quickly scans the passengers for those who belong in that section. Eloise, despite her humble appearance, is traveling in first class. When Eloise approaches the first-class gate, Miss Pratt dismisses her, assuming she has made a mistake. Eloise is told to step aside, but she refuses to argue. Instead, she remains calm and gently insists that there's no mistake. When Miss Pratt aggressively slaps her hand away, Eloise's cane falls, and the terminal falls into silence. The tension in the air grows as Eloise remains composed, sending a chilling message to Miss Pratt with the words, "You just made the worst mistake of your life." This sets the stage for the drama to unfold, with the passengers observing the uncomfortable exchange. The tension heightens as Miss Pratt is soon confronted by a senior airline official, Gerald Whitaker. He calmly addresses Eloise as Mrs. Lancaster and apologizes for the delay, revealing that Eloise is not just any elderly woman, but the chairwoman of the airline. Miss Pratt's confusion and shock are palpable, as she is forced to realize the gravity of her actions. Gerald instructs Miss Pratt to step aside, and she is left to face the consequences of her behavior. Miss Pratt's assumptions about Eloise being unworthy of first class are revealed to be rooted in her bias. Despite her earlier self-assurance, Miss Pratt now has to confront her mistakes in front of her colleagues and the airline's leadership. The situation grows even more tense when she is called to the cockpit and asked to explain her actions. In the cockpit, she is met by Captain Nigel Dawson, senior executives, and Robert Ellington, who reprimand her for her prejudice and hasty assumptions. Her actions are condemned, and she learns that she has humiliated one of the most powerful figures in the airline industry. The executives lay out the consequences, with Miss Pratt forced to face the possibility of losing her job. She is left with no choice but to apologize publicly and try to redeem herself. As the flight continues, Miss Pratt's sense of shame grows. The passengers, including Dorian Vance, continue to watch her every move, and Eloise remains composed, offering a silent reminder of the mistake Miss Pratt has made. The interactions between Miss Pratt and the other flight attendants, including Leah, highlight the emotional toll this situation has taken on her. While Leah offers sympathy, Miss Pratt is left to reflect on her behavior, confronting her biases head-on. When the plane lands, Miss Pratt is called into a meeting with the executives. Robert Ellington explains that Eloise Lancaster had specifically requested that Miss Pratt be given a chance to explain herself before a decision was made. The airline has decided to place Miss Pratt on probation rather than fire her immediately. The executives explain that she will undergo training to address her biases, and her role will be reevaluated over the next 6 months. Miss Pratt is given the opportunity to redeem herself, but she knows that this is her final chance. As the day draws to a close, Miss Pratt confronts her mistakes, acknowledging the biases that led to her actions. Eloise, in her quiet wisdom, watches Miss Pratt with an expression that reveals more than she lets on. Miss Pratt leaves the meeting, aware that her career hangs in the balance. She is faced with the daunting reality of having to change her perspective and prove that she can learn from her mistakes.